Hey y'all, it's Joe here. You might be wondering where's Ty. You know what? First things first is prioritizing, right? So Ty is off being an amazing husband and soon-to-be father, and he will be with us shortly. But in the meantime, do you see where I am? I am at a brewery, which you might be like, isn't this a podcast about education and all things Black? But remember, we are the 2B podcast, and we are always celebrating things related to Black excellence. And today we are celebrating an Edtrepreneur, which is the hybrid of education and entrepreneurship. And here we are at his brewery. So stay tuned, and we will be doing that shortly. But until then, hang tight. Talk to me, and we'll be soon talking about voting as well. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you follow us at 2B Podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I'm the happiest human right now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Check, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh my God, I'm the most awkward human without you.
What do you need? Stop it. No way.
I'm so happy you're here.
Hey, Mackenzie.
Hi. Oh my goodness. Yes. Actually, why don't we just get straight to it? And
I'm out of breath. I need a stairmaster at the house. My gosh. Can they hear us? Can they hear us? They can't hear us. Can they?
Thank you so much. Yum. I'm the happiest. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, I've got some good stuff. Ty, we're going to let you take a whole breath. Relax.
I'm ready.
You ready? Well, y'all.
Where's Chocolate Fan? Jesus.
Black Biz is brewing is the whole topic for today. And hi, by the way, I'm Joe.
Oh, we're live? Wait, I know we're live. What's up? This is Ty. On the check-in. What's up?
Yes, we are live. And I was just telling them that we strive to do all things Black excellence. And today we are highlighting your favorite word, Edtrepreneur. And that is why I'm at this beautiful brewery right here. And we'll be highlighting that educator, entrepreneur in a second. And this time I don't mean Ty, because if you didn't know, he is his own entrepreneur right there, talking about himself.
A little bit. I don't mean to brag. But thank you for that alley-oop, Joe, and I will dunk it. So I have a entertainment company. It started off as Every Occasion Photo Booths, and we are expanding and building. Hopefully, when outside opens up again, it will be Every Occasion Event Services, where we will provide photography services, photo booth services, event planning, and so much more. So much more. So look forward to that when the weather breaks and when COVID-19 finally disappears.
I cannot wait. I honestly cannot wait. And you know what? Before we dive into us, I think that the most pressing issue right now that we need to talk about is registering to vote. I don't know. The election, honestly, is very heavy on my heart and on my psychic spirit. I didn't even realize, but it is taking up a lot of my mental space. And in 2 days, y'all, just 2, that will be the end of registering to vote. And you know what? We don't know that much about it. So we brought somebody who has been campaigning and has actively been doing the work to get communities of color, Black people, and the general populace to vote. She is lovely. She is wonderful. She is a Southern gal. Southern belle, excuse me. A Southern belle and a Hugsy student. Please welcome our very own Mackenzie Parkins.
You're actually making me blush. And you had a business, Ty. Super cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm so happy to be here. I've heard you had this podcast, and now I'm just like, oh, now I have a new podcast that I got to listen to every week.
New listeners. We love it. We love it. So, Mackenzie, will you just tell us a little bit about, just who are you?
Yeah.
Just tell us that first, and we'll get to the nitty gritty a little later. But people don't listen until they know who you are and they know that you care. So let's start there.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Parkins. I am a former educator, currently a student, Hugsy, Education Policy and Management. What brought me into education, my youngest sister was kicked out of school in kindergarten, sent me into special education because I had to figure out how was it legal for a kindergartner to get kicked out, and told that she was too behavioral defiant that she had to be in an alternative school. Yeah, crazy.
Real crazy.
Crazy. Very, very crazy. And so I got into special education, taught for 5 years. And then in the mix of all that, got super involved with like working alongside parents and like families to make schools and like teachers, even myself, like how can I better do my job? And really just got engaged in like community organizing, which then became like a leeway of like organizing for like system of powers and specifically like civic engagement. So that's a very little bit about me. I think like I'm super interested still in like research and like figuring out how do we get youth voices particularly uplifted in the bigger dynamics of like the world, but then also like families in schools, right? Like my family still feeling the burden. My sister still to this day like struggling in public school system. And how do we like how do I get my mama's voice heard in the school? Yeah.
Thank you for that work. That is so necessary. So thank you for uplifting that.
Did we tell y'all we only have like Black excellence? Because I don't know, all I heard was Black excellence coming out of that woman's mouth. Oh my God. Thank you for doing that. Like, it is necessary because often we talk so much about getting student voice heard, parent voice heard, but we don't have active like advocates actually out there holding the school systems accountable. So I'm thankful that not only are you doing that right now, but you are in the EPM, education policy management, making sure that it gets integrated into our school systems. Oh man, you are going to be a force. If you couldn't tell, she's a force.
I accept, I receive. Praying so.
And thank you for sharing that story. Real quick, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that story about your sister, because sometimes I think when we hear about the inequities, we hear about the injustices that are happening in education. If you don't know someone specifically, sometimes you can brush it off. You can say, I don't know if that's actually happening, or maybe that was just a drop in the bucket. That was a one-time thing. When in actuality, these are occurrences of violence that happen to Black and brown bodies on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. So now is the time that if we hadn't done it before, now certainly is the time, just like we're talking about registering to vote, to speak up, advocate for yourself, and to make sure that people know that this is happening so we can put a stop to it immediately.
Period. My kids love to say.
Period.
Mackenzie, yes, thank you. And thank you for coming to Hugsy and getting active and getting after it. Will you tell us a little bit about what you have been doing behind the scenes? Because let me tell you, when I say behind the scenes, I'm in class and Dr. V's like, and thank you, Mackenzie, for all you're doing with voting. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm in classes. I'm in a group chat. She's on the low behind the scenes, making sure everybody's doing what they need to. We're ready for you to come forth and tell us.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm just trying. It was one of those blessings that honestly just fell into my lap, like very like serendipitously. So like I said, I'm super involved. I knew it was the election year, and this one is like critical to my livelihood and my sanity for all the things. And so I had reached out to Kevin reached out to someone and said, hey, I heard about this organization, Harvard Votes Challenge. And so I just got really involved with them. So right now I'm like the Hugsy liaison, trying to get like Hugsy students out and like engaged and also excited, which is really hard to do in a pandemic and virtually. How do you get folks like actually excited? I'm so used to in-person like fun things. So Harvard Votes Challenge is just an organization that like seeks to like push voter engagement. We have a really lofty goal of getting 100% of students actually out to vote. Lofty, but definitely possible as long as like folks are saying the important. So I think my role has really just been trying to like get some peer-to-peer engagement and building a team of just people to be like texting or just asking like in your classes, hey y'all, make sure you're out and vote. That's mainly like really connecting that and like reaching out to different faculty members to see how can they like change the rules or make it more flexible for students to go and vote. And what happens like the day after election, you know, you have that early morning Wednesday class and did not go how it's supposed to. Like, how are you taking out how that's all going to affect us?
That's key.
Because that's all I'm thinking about is like that whole week God forbid.
I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's gonna like persist even past that Wednesday, because normally it's not Wednesday morning. But you know, if there's anything that's true, is that we're not gonna know those results on Wednesday morning. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna carry on for a week.
Limbo.
Like they haven't given us like definitely at least I haven't seen it. Definitely by this time you will know. And I'm just like, like it's fine.
Girl.
It's fine. I think. I hope. Like, but that psychic energy, and I just want to thank you and all of the Black Hugsy, like, for saying that, like, this is taking up energy in psychic space. Like, it's really weighing on a lot of our minds. Unfortunately, I meant, really, when you said it's hard to get people excited, I was like, it's hard to get me excited because I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous, my damn self. Can I cuss? I cuss. Sorry.
Of course. This is yours.
Should have asked.
Listen, we are challenging the status quo in what is scholarly language as well. Like, come on, no. Scholars use their full range of their vocabulary, if you ask me. So, Mackenzie, please tell us, how do we vote? How do we make sure we are registered? How do we know where we're even supposed to vote? You can drop things in the link in the chat. Please feel comfortable.
I should have asked that earlier. Okay. I mean, to begin, right, Google is your best friend. I genuinely believe it. There's nothing that, if you have any kind of question, you can literally Google it and find everything that you need to know. So I'm guessing, like you said, in Massachusetts, y'all still have 2 days to register to vote. So check your registration. If you haven't already done so, register to vote. I'm in Georgia currently, and we've been registration passed a couple weeks ago, and we're at the end of week 2 of early voting. Either way, make sure you're registered. After you actually go register, go ahead and Google and know like all the different rules that come behind when you're actually, if you're choosing to do mail-in ballots, right? How do I request my absentee ballot? Go ahead and request that. I think in Massachusetts, again, you guys have one of the later ones. It's October 28th is all the way the last day that you can actually request it. And then there's like rules behind checking if you choose it to like go to a ballot box, or if you're choosing to put it in the post office. So different states have rules around when you can actually have it postmarked. So again, I think Massachusetts, y'all have all the way until actual election day to have it physically postmarked, versus some states where they're like, oh, you have to have it done by October 40th. I said October 40th, Lord. October 30th. Yeah, so check those dates and like know them. And I would also say like write it down. It depends on how you live. But like if you're like, I need a calendar, put it in your phone or something so it pops up to remind you.
Right.
I'd also urge y'all, like, if you can, vote in person. If you're able to, vote in person, because they're trying it with all types of things, like scary things that scare tactics, like real life. Like I'm busting open the ballot box and taking all the ballots out, which is sickening. Yeah, so go ahead and like Google all of that. I think a lot of this information you can find at your Secretary of State, like wherever that government website lives. Again, Google. Yeah, and then like with the ballot itself, you have to, there's a lot of like nuanced rules depending on where you live. I think honestly, another strategy to lessen our voices, right, is to make it difficult depending on where you live. Some states you have to, like, there's a return envelope, the specific one you have to return. Some states require that you have a witness. Is there a lag?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. Some states require that you have a witness. So know your rules. That's the first thing. Go to Google, literally know all the rules. There's all these little tricky things. And then when you actually, if you decide to do mail-in voting, make sure you fill in the bubble, right? Like, we're educators. I'm a former teacher. I know y'all are too, right? Like, think standardized testing, that mode of just like filling in the bubbles, don't exit out, don't write the letters, no weird erase marks, like all those things, which is like traumatic in some ways. That's the level of like, I have to make sure that I'm bubbling properly, you know, go out and check your answers. That matters. Don't leave things blank. Like, go down the ballot box, do your research if you're opting that way. And then like figure out, where am I going to drop it off? Or I would even say like a voting squad if you're in person, or if you're doing it by mail, right? Like, are there people that you can also pick up their ballot and drop it in the box for them. Call your auntie who like may not do that. Whoever it is, you know, check to make sure and just reach out to somebody. Hey, do you need like help registering? Do you need help like sending it in? I'm going by. Do you want to vote together? My parents and I, we woke up at 6:50 in the morning, stood in the line for an hour, did together. But it was nice. It was also nice just to like spend this 1 hour doing this one thing.
I love the intergenerational commitment. I love that.
Yeah, right? You know, and I was like texting my little cousin who's like a first-time voter, and I'm just like, hey, cuz, have you voted already? And he already had his plan. And so it's nice too to get like younger folks involved. And then like you said, like that intergenerational, like how far back can you get to come and vote with you? Like I'm talking to my grandma about it. Like, did y'all already do it? You know?
I think that, you know, when we talk about solving problems, two things come to mind. One is that sometimes people think too macro level when you really should think micro. Who are the people that you have influence over? Who are the people that you come in contact with? Who is your circle, right? 6 degrees of separation. Contact those people first, right? The people that in your household, the people that you see, your extended family, and ask them, what are they doing? And as you mentioned, Mackenzie, extend a hand and ask them like, hey, do you need me to come pick you up? And if you still have an opportunity to register online, maybe you have some folks that don't have internet access or don't know how to navigate the internet. Go ahead and help them with that process. And then the other thing I really heard you mention is to make a plan. You have to have a plan. You can't wait to the day of and then decide, all right, well, where do I find out? Where do I vote? What time does it close? And then next thing you know, you realize that your work schedule doesn't work around that. So really make a plan. I got to give a shout out to my wife first and foremost. I had to, you know, I'm just going to flash it by because I think it's illegal to really take pictures of it. But she went ahead and registered online early weeks ago and got her mail-in ballot. And so many of you know my wife is pregnant, so she's not going to go to the polls, but that is not going to stop her from voting. So I'm really proud of her for taking that first step. And we're going to get that mailed in. And then when I show up on election day, I'm not taking no for an answer. And I'm double checking to make sure my ballot goes in the box.
What is this, Christmas? You checking it twice?
You're right about that.
You have to. You have
acting out here.
And then, like the step after that, after you drop it in, track to make sure to see where it's at. A lot of states, and I just looked up y'all's, right? You can literally track where is my ballot. So talking about the plan, I was originally going to do vote by mail. My mama's came, my dad's came. My absentee ballot never came in the mail. And I was just like, oh, y'all playing with me, you know? And so I was just like lucky enough to have the time to go ahead and get it out the way, but also, you know, that's nonsense that happened. And if I asked for another one, right, like, and I didn't know the rules, to your point, I could just be out here bad, down bad.
Mackenzie, did I hear this correctly? There are tracking numbers to your ballot. So just like UPS will send you a tracking number, you can track your ballot?
You can track it. And so, some have actual numbers. If you look on your website, you can like look up to see like, depending on is yours, and it depends on the process where you're at. Is it coming out to me? Can I send it back? But yeah, all of that, like Google is your best friend. Do it. And even if you request one and at the last minute you're like, I changed my mind, you can go up to Still Vote in person and just tell them, hey, actually, I changed my mind. You don't have to have the ballot with you, but they prefer if you do. There's like one extra step. Yeah. You know, it's all out there. Just make it happen. It's so critical this year, y'all.
It is. Go ahead, Joe.
Critical.
Seriously.
It's so critical, y'all. And we need the Black vote. We need it. Come on, get out there. I know they are trying to suppress our vote. Let's not play. Let's not beat around the bush. We know that there are tactics out there trying to suppress our vote, but our voice matters. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything. Check it twice. Do what you need to do, but get out there. Don't wait till the last minute. We have so many various ways that Mackenzie just pointed out that we can make sure we get our vote in. Vote early, vote on the day of, mail it in, but get out there and do it.
Period.
Oh my goodness.
Right on cue.
I love it.
Well, listen, this queen is brains and beauty, and I know that she is off to stats right now, and we will not hold you. We thank you. We know that took such a crazy day. We thank you for taking 20 minutes out of your day to make sure that our audience make sure that they know how to vote and they are out there getting their voice heard, exercising their right. So thank you, Mackenzie.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Was that great or was that great?
Listen, it was such a necessary conversation because first and foremost, we can't just talk about it. We have to be about it, right? So we have to do the work. And part of that work is going to have to vote. One of the things that I really wanted to mention is that I've seen a lot of social media influencers over the last few weeks that are sending mixed messages. They're confusing people, essentially suggesting don't vote for anybody because it's two evils, one on each side of the ballot. And so I understand that thought process. I understand that, we are, as Black people specifically, right, because that's the audience that we're speaking to. I understand that we have experienced violence and trauma, false promises. We've had policies that were spoken about in one way, and then in actuality, when it came to implementation, they actually caused harm to our communities. I understand that. However, right, that does not mean that now is the time for you to not utilize your ability to vote, utilize your right to vote, because your voice does matter, just like Joe said. And second from that, if you stand on the sidelines, that means you're allowing others to make decisions that are going to impact your life.
Correct. And that's
really what it comes down to.
Yes, Ty. And the best metaphor I heard, it's almost like I only hang out with 3 people. You're right, I only do. But it's like Ty and Sav. So Sav has this great metaphor that she used about like riding on a bus, right? And you're trying to get from point A to point B, right? And we have 2 buses that we can take. One puts us further back, and one might move us forward, maybe only an inch. One might even move us a little bit. But if you think about it like a number line, how far away from 0 do you really want to be? And how far away from 0 are we already starting, right?
Come on, teacher.
The Biden or whomever starts from that ending point. So do we want to keep going in the direction that we're going, or do we want to maybe make it a couple of notches closer to 0? I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you how to vote. But if you listen to this show, you know that dumb Trump. That's
how you have to make the play.
Listen. We're gonna check in real briefly, and then we're gonna bring the man of the hour. But we're gonna check in real briefly, because I'm just wondering, am I the only one that's drowning? Am I the only one that is drowning? Because, bro, like, I'm at this beautiful brewery. I need y'all to know, Crue Brew is legitimately, like, we are going to be
Crue Brew.
Like, Merritt don't know yet, but I'm about to ask if I can have my graduation party here. Like, listen, support Black businesses.
Turn up, okay.
But in order to even get here, I live in Boston, y'all. And I had one break between going from school to school work, right? So I had an hour. I drove to Stoughton, and then I had one 45-minute break, and then I drove to Raynham in order to be here to show you what is happening in this amazing place. But there's no downtime. And I was like, my nose is barely...
Listen, I certainly can echo that sentiment about feeling like you're drowning. My wife can tell you that I have been living my life over the last couple of weeks on a nap schedule, not a sleep schedule, a nap schedule. To a point where Zoom fatigue is so real, I'm ready to write my dissertation on Zoom fatigue. Honestly. Because sitting in front of the computer, it is taxing. It's taxing on your body. It's taxing on your mental capacity. Where at the end of the day, even though you haven't really done anything physical, it is so draining to sit in that one spot, looking at the screen and try to engage yourself in multiple conversations. So, and for us as educators, we're teaching in the morning and then we're learning in the evening. So we're also trying to make that transition midday from being in a position of facilitator to then in a position of learner. And so, that coalescing with all the reading that we've had to do, my God, y'all pray my strength. Pray my strength, please.
The eye strain, man.
I'm surprised you're not wearing glasses already.
I literally, you stole the thought out of my brain. I was like, I really gotta go get my thought. I really got to. My eyes are killing me all of the time. Everything's killing me. And I just wanna point out, because there was a moment that all of us kind of admitted that we were just going through it. And I just want to say to all y'all listening, It's all right if you're going through it. Find your support system, reach out and say it. Go ahead and say it. I'm drowning. I'm having a hard time. Can you please help me? Can you please help me? And say what you need. I just need to see you. Can we social distance? Can I see you? Can we talk on the phone?
This is the time again, as I've brought up multiple times, you have to center self-care, right? You have to center self-care, whatever that looks like for you. If it's a bubble bath with candles, if it's a walk outside, if it's conversation with your partner, if it's the Lakers winning the championship. I had to stop that okay. A little basketball therapy. If that's what it is, you need to center that. Take some time just for you. You have to do that. Otherwise, you will literally drive yourself crazy. You'll be a slave to your inbox. You will be constrained and confined to your to-do list, and you'll never feel like you'll break free of that. So please take some time to yourself. Be good to yourself.
Absolutely. And remember, Ty said, if taking care of your mental health is not productive, then we don't know what is. And we mean that. And we mean that. Take care of yourself. Yes, we might be six months, maybe even more at this point, 7 months into this pandemic. It does not matter. Don't beat yourself up for not having acclimated to this time. It is craziness. And every time you think you kind of figured one part out, remember, life is dynamic. So there are other parts that you're still trying to figure out. So please, yes, be good to yourself now and forevermore. And you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add one more thing, especially for my educator friends, right? I encourage you to set boundaries. Set boundaries, because we know that working with our colleagues, sometimes our administrators, sometimes our students, they'll email you at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And especially because so many of us have our inboxes on our cell phones, we feel compelled to answer in that moment. Save it for the next day. At a certain time, log off. Just log off. If it's 9 o'clock, log off and stay strong in that stance that, you know what, my workday is over at this time, and whatever I didn't get done, it will be there tomorrow. But I encourage you to set some boundaries. Maybe it's that a Saturday is your work day, your day free of work, or maybe Sunday is that day. But choose some time that you dedicate to just yourself and put the work to the side. You have to.
100%. 100%. And you know what? Sometimes you need to put the work down and you need to grab a beer.
That's what I'm talking about.
I am here. Where are you? Where do I find you?
Okay, here we go.
We figuring this out.
I love this spread. Look at that, the little spread of beers.
Hey, y'all need to see the beer.
Pour me a sip virtually, please.
Listen, and you need to meet the wife. Come on, you need to meet. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, we love it. We love it. Woo! Please introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Kevin Merritt.
I'm Tammy.
Hello, how y'all doing?
And my brother. I'm sorry.
What we get about him?
I don't want to leave him out.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness! Sorry. Listen, I'm about to just stand behind them. I'll be back.
All right.
Listen, first and foremost, I want to talk about how jealous I am. I'm in the wrong space. I should be there with you. I don't know why I'm in my living room, but I should be there with you, sipping the beer. This has been a live podcast.
Oh, no,
Next time.
Oh my goodness!
You've got to come. Can I give just a brief turnaround? Y'all gotta see this place. Listen. If you come on. Look at it. They even have a food truck, y'all. Yes, I stopped at the food truck because who doesn't want some chicken and waffles? Listen.
Hold on. The podcast has to go on pause. Where are my keys?
Yeah, we're missing you, Ty.
I got my mask. Where are my keys?
Got the mask, no keys.
Did you say chicken and waffles with the beer? Oh no.
Ty, no, we are missing you. We are missing you. Okay. We'll figure out how to make this angle work and take breaks. Oh my goodness. So please, Ty, and if you can't hear us, just let us know.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh,
okay.
Beautiful.
All right, great.
So Kevin Merritt, Edtrepreneur, co-owner and operator of Crue Brew, Crue Brew Brewery. Woo! Try and say that 3 times fast. Jeez.
Let's go
Crue
Crue Brew.
Brew.
It's Crue Brew.
Crue Brew.
That's it. Yeah.
Crue Brew out here in Raynham. Listen, this is a great space, a great place. Y'all should come. I'm going to be sampling the beers because normally, I wouldn't drink. I'm trying to be a professional, but it seems almost disrespectful if I didn't. Respect on the man's name.
Please, you have to taste it. I mean, it's only right.
So,
you over 21?
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Don't mind if I do.
All right, great. So I'm gonna move right over here. Okay, there you go. Kevin Merritt, entrepreneur. We started Crue Brew Brewery about 2 years ago. We went down to Newport Storm. I saw their system. We went on a little tour there. And I said, if we can do that, if they can do that, then we can do that. Be able to get this going. We should be able to do something that we love, besides teaching. And so that's exactly what we did. I learned how to brew. At the beginning, I did not know how to brew. So I learned how to brew at the South Shore Brew Club. Great group of guys, started a bunch of different breweries around here, or helped us out a bunch of different breweries around here. And we got going, brewed about 5 years, and then we got started. Being a black-owned business, we did have some struggles in terms of, getting a loan for a brewery. So that was rough. That was one of those points that I know I've had it harder than, some of the other breweries maybe around here. And so but that really didn't stop us. My wife was great, and she said, you know what? Let's just take out a home equity loan, use the kids' college fund, do what we got to do to get this business going. And
come on, wife with
talk about believing in the dream.
Yeah, so that's, if it wasn't for her, then this wouldn't have happened. So this kind of got started with her. And also my brother as well. So my brother used to work at Fidelity. He's a financial guy. And so he also helped out with funds at the beginning. Actually everyone helped out. My mom helped out. My friends helped out. Everyone really chipped in and kind of helped out to make this dream a reality. So that was kind of takes a village to raise a child. Takes a village to raise me, I guess. I don't know.
to raise the baby.
So that's kind of how we get started in this business. Goodness, now we're friendly with a lot of the breweries around here are really nice. We're also friends with some of the black breweries. I know Brockton Beer Company is Pierre. He's getting started right now. They're not open. But
was that him?
Yeah, that was him.
Why didn't you tell him to stay? I met Pierre, y'all. I met Pierre. I didn't know.
Episode part 2 is gonna have to happen.
Super what? Man.
Well, so wait, I'll give you even more than that.
Oh, so here we go.
So Pierre, we brew a beer with Pierre every year called Black Friday. So this year it might be a pale ale, and we on Black Friday. But I just got off a Zoom call last night with all of the other black breweries in Massachusetts.
White Lion and 67 Degrees, right?
White Lion, 67 Degrees are the ones that are open. But Brockton Beer's not open, Arc Point's not open, and Brew Practitioners out in Springfield, I think they're open. But we're going to brew a beer with all the black-owned breweries.
Let's go. You heard it first right here.
Come on, collaboration.
First right here.
Yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks. We're going to go out to Springfield. And we're all gonna get together and brew that beer.
And shout out to the 413. That's my hometown. Big shout out to my guy Ray Berry as well. So I know him, the owner of White Lion.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so, wow, connections are being made. That's
my goodness. We might have to just redo this episode. Apparently, we could have had 3 of the 5.
No, all of them will be there.
No, I'm saying right here.
Oh yeah.
Pierre was here. Ray Berry. We could have just been like a brewing session. That's amazing.
And the brew community is so helpful. So we brewed a beer with Night Shift up in Everett called Night Crew.
Mm-hmm.
What we did, I talked to Terrence Johnson. I talked to Johnson.
Oh, for those who don't know, I guess we've been kind of keeping this a secret, but Merritt, me, and Ty all work together. Like when we said Edtrepreneur, this is an educator, okay? His day job is education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the entrepreneur is obviously this stunning establishment. So Terrence Johnson is one of the assistant principals at our school.
Isn't it fitting that we work at a technical vocational high school that is all about direct towards career, right? It's a trade school, so we're always talking to our students about, if you don't go to college, or if you do go to college, the career path is right after that, right? That's the next step. So all of us being involved in some sort of trade, some sort of business, I mean, this is really the embodiment of what we're preaching and teaching to our students.
Right. I mean, and so what Mr. Johnson helped me with was there's a Sheldon Johnson scholarship fund to help kids in Boston, post-secondary education. And so with Night Shift, we brewed a beer called Night Crew, and some of the proceeds from that beer go to help the Sheldon Johnson scholarship.
Wow, powerful.
That's one of those things that we did, to give back to the community and kind of help out.
Impactful connections.
And so I was also on a call yesterday with the Mass Brewers Guild. I'm on the diversity and inclusion group. And so we're trying to get a web page together where Black-owned breweries, want to, or even Black, there's different ethnicities, anybody really of color want to get into the brewing business. We want to set up a page that will help them do that, help them get some exposure and things like that. So that's what the Mass Brewers Guild is doing right now, and they're really great, and they're really helpful on some of these issues. Sorry, I've been blabbing for a while.
No, that was all valuable information. Can we shout out you said the Mass Brewers Guild, correct?
Yes.
Shout out to them, because one of the sayings that we have on the 2B podcast is that mentorship is mandatory. And so this is really exemplifying that, if we want to see ourselves, whether it be Black, brown, anybody, we want to see ourselves in these spaces, then we have to create pathways and pipelines for that. And so shout out to you, Kevin, for doing that, because not only did you put your foot in the doorway, now you left the door open and you're bringing others with you. That's an important step.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Olivier, he runs 67 Degrees up in Franklin. And so he comes down every once in a while, and we kind of share ideas and stuff. And he's a great guy. I also helped him out when he was starting up. He bounced ideas off of me, and I bounced ideas off of other brewers and stuff. And it was kind of good. So now we were thinking about maybe purchasing some stuff together, and we were trying to get into Trader Joe's. I think he is actually going to get into Trader Joe's. And so that'll be, in the Boston area. So the beer will be more accessible to people in the city. So that's another thing that we're kind of trying to do, is make our beer more accessible to everybody.
Can I just say something I love about this conversation is that, there's room for all of us. There's not this, I'm here, so, God forbid we pull up other Black and brown people who want to get into this industry, right? It's no, I hope you don't have to go through the hardships that I experienced. Why not make a pathway for you to have it easier than I did? Because it shouldn't have been that hard in the first place. Some of the, obviously it's difficult, but the loans, certain things. Here's the pathway. Here you go. You know what? Mentorship is mandatory.
And we know that's a major hurdle in our community, right? Is there are so many innovators, so many folks with great ideas, and the intuition to create them, but there's a lack of capital and access to capital through the traditional ways of getting it, like going to the bank for a loan. So I was ecstatic to hear that you had a community of folks that put their dollars behind you, not just their support, but their dollars behind you to help you get this off the ground. And that's something we've talked about as well, Joe, right, with group economics. So this is just really talking about the manifestation of so many principles that we preach throughout our episodes.
Yes, absolutely. The thing is, we really do need, that's better. Here we go. We really do need to be talking about how do we as a community support one another, right? Because, Kevin said that he had his, okay, great. I'm so used to calling him Merritt. So we teachers out here.
Teacher talk. What can you do?
We have the last name, okay? So we have to be ready to support one another in our initiatives, right? We have to be able to back one another, right? This is how we build community within ourselves. So, Merritt, I hear you taking on all of these initiatives. First and foremost, it's COVID. You survived. Oh my gosh! Hello.
Now we can't understate that.
How many businesses closed? Can you tell us about how COVID affected you and now how you're open and what these different what's changed? Talk us through that.
At the beginning, we had to close for a while, so we had to close down, and all we could sell was beer to go. So that was difficult. But then after we opened up, goodness, I think it was 2 or 3 months we were shut down. So that was rough. It was good that I'm teaching because my teaching income helped, supply the brewery, and so did my wife's income. So we just, again, put our money into it to keep it going. But then once we opened up, the town was really great with allowing us an outdoor space so we could put seats and stuff outside. We could open up as a restaurant. We have a 3-bay sink. So we just do grilled cheese. When we don't have a food truck, we do grilled cheeses.
Listen, who needs a food truck then?
Hey.
I love me some grilled cheese.
Hey, again, innovation, right? If there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, and that's basically it. So the outdoor space was great in helping us, and then we came back, and hopefully we don't have to shut down again. That's what I'm hoping. I know numbers are going up and stuff, and so we'll see. But to adjust, we're starting getting more liquor stores. So to start getting more liquor stores, get out, because when they close restaurants and breweries down and stuff, they leave the liquor stores open. And so we would still, if this happens again, if we had to be shut down again, we could get our beer out to more liquor stores, and that'll definitely help things. So that's my COVID story.
That's your. Did you have to lay off employees? I know that your daughter's here, so maybe that was a little bit easier. But do you have any employees that you had to like what did you do?
Yeah, so we looked at the PPE loans, but a lot of those, they were supposed to be grants. It said it was a grant, but it said if you were to find the fine print, if you didn't hire people back by a certain date, it turned into a loan. You had to pay it back. If you didn't do this part of the deal, you had to pay it back. There was a lot of things in there. And
a lot of loopholes.
I think it was June. You had to hire everyone back by June, and so we weren't sure if we were going to do that. And they did extend that deadline, but so we didn't take any of the PPE loans just because it was kind of shady the way they did that. So that was it. And we just used my income, my wife's income, and just
you the woman
kept it going. She's smiling.
I think it's very key that you mentioned that there was a lot to unpack with those loans, because there were some folks that applied for them and got them and then didn't really know what to do with it in regards to their business, didn't keep good records, and now they're scrambling as they come towards the end of the year because they don't have the receipts to prove what they spent it on, that they hired folks back. So when we're talking about business, it's important that you really read the fine print, right? We say that all the time, but especially in business, it's crucial that you read the fine print because those loans, like you mentioned, those grants, many of them were in actuality loans. That's something I thought about for my business, and I said, wait a minute. I don't think this is something that we should invest in because we're not sure that we can meet these requirements.
Right.
That's a scary thing. Something that's supposed to help you, but really stabs you in the back. Like, thanks, government ? Like, I'm not really understanding. So actually, speaking of Merritt being a teacher, right? Merritt didn't just open this brewery. So in normal days, right? And I think it's really cool to mention this. Merritt, you are challenging the stereotype of where Black men go because you are a teacher. You are only 2% of the workforce, you and Ty. And in Massachusetts, one of 4 open breweries, or one of 3 open breweries, and one of 5 breweries. Like, come on. How, insane, first and foremost. So thank you for challenging that. Amazing. And also, how do you balance this when we are working, or even now? Because Ty and I were talking about that. It's like, it's exhausting. This work is exhausting.
Oh yeah.
And then you got this.
Training.
Oh yeah.
So how are you doing this?
So sometimes I have to get up in the morning and come here, turn water on, stuff like that at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and then go into Boston and teach. And then after I teach, I come back here, and sometimes we're here till 11, 12, 1 in the morning, and then get up and do it again. Sometimes during the week, if I'm home in between classes, I'll take a nap if I have to. You just kind of
That's real.
I was saying he's living off naps. Yeah. Like, what is a sleep schedule? I got a nap schedule.
Yeah. And then it's like, we set some crazy goals for the end of this year. And so I'm running to try to achieve those. And so it's like, you just never stop. You just never stop. So that's just kind of, you just think hopefully in the long run, it's going to be worth it. The other week, both my daughters work here. They save their tip money up for 4 weeks. And then we went for a family dinner at Chops in Boston. So that was time where we could all get together and kind of decompress and have a nice dinner together. And they do the merchandise here. So they do all the shirts. They're going to make candles and stuff like that. So the girls are starting their own little businesses now, spinning off of this business. Which is like,
Listen,
I love the family atmosphere, right? Family first.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Like I work Thursday nights. Thursday night's one of our slower nights, and we would go out to dinner after, me and my youngest daughter, because I'm always working, doing schoolwork or doing brewery work, and so it was on Thursday nights we would go out. And now we haven't done that lately, so now we're gonna try to schedule family time every 2 weeks where we do something as a family, where we're just not in front of the TV or something like that. So
shout out to the girl dads. Can we just shout out the girl dads real quick?
Girl dads.
Yes.
He's gonna have him a little baby girl, so he's all
nice.
about the girl
Okay.
dads.
The clock is ticking.
Hey.
By the time we come back to the next episode, whew,
Oh my god!
we'll see.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh
Listen,
my goodness!
I want to ask a question because we are always trying to help inspire the folks that have ideas brewing in their heads, pun intended. So I would wonder, Kevin, what is it that you would say to someone who's aspiring to create their own brewery? Maybe they've started to tinker with brewing their own beers at home. Maybe they've started to consider a logo, or they have just ideas coming together, but they don't know what the next step is. What would you say to them as to how to get started with a brewery business?
Man, I would say go to the Brewers Association. Has a bunch of resources, and there's a big conference every year called the Craft Brewers Conference, and we went to that 4 years before we even opened up, just to learn everything we needed to learn.
Research.
In terms of buying this equipment, I didn't know what to buy, so we found a consulting firm there, and they were kind of talking about this firm. So with our, she's singing Whitney.
Sorry, I'll keep it together. I'm sorry.
But this equipment that I bought, they actually let you go out there for a week out in Portland, Oregon. So I went out there for a week, brewed on their equipment, and learned how to do this.
Oh, that's cool.
I joined the South Shore Brew Club, and they taught me how to brew beer. And they're kind of, sometimes they can be critical. They can be like, "Hey, this is awful. This is whatever." You gotta be able to take feedback on what you're doing. Everything you're doing is not perfect. Everyone doesn't get a trophy, So when someone says, "Hey, this is awful," you got to go, "All right, well, how can I change it?" Or what were you looking for?
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. I just another thing that really helped me out in terms of this was my hour drive to Boston, hour and a half, 2 hours home sometimes. I listen to books.
Boston traffic.
Yeah.
So, he said it so casually. I was like, "Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!"
I listen to books on tape. So I learned from other brewers that were going up, and goodness, I went to the Craft Brewers Conference one year, and I got to sit next to Garrett Oliver, who was one of the first big black brewers in America. He worked for Brooklyn Beer Company.
Oh my gosh, that beer is so good.
That beer is fantastic.
Beers by them. So after my favorite sour, the Bel Air sour, y'all.
Oh.
Brooklyn Beer Company. It is in a pink and blue can.
Old Rusty Wagon. Give just a little bit.
Okay, obviously this first, that second, but that's a good one.
And
that's so cool.
And that's what we were thinking about for when the black brewers get together and brew the beer. We were thinking about doing Garrett Oliver's scholarship fund, but Ray found another one out near where he lives. So we're giving to the community college that helps start brewers out there. So that's kind of what we get to.
If this man does not embody all of the things that we talk about on this show,
everything
like community, giving back, putting a hand back down, family, making him time, remaining educated, holy cow.
Research and development, right?
Come on. Look at
that.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Family affair.
You want to say hi? Thank you.
What are you doing?
What's your name?
I'm Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
What are you doing? We're on the
Speak to the people.
Oh my God. Excuse me, y'all. So this is, listen, I can't bring it.
What it's called?
This is called the Rusty Wagon. If you don't come here for anything else, come here for the Rusty Wagon and the 21 Pumpkins, because this is the fall beer that you need. Honestly. Ooh.
Yeah, so that one we not yet, but we aged that in Maker's Mark barrels. So that's coming out in October or November.
Oh, you try to hear first, y'all.
Listen, I just want you to know I'll be there this weekend. I need I need 3 or 4 4-packs put to the side for me. Because I'm coming with the crew to the Crue Brew. Okay.
Hey, we love it. We love it. So final question, because we won't keep you. We know you got things to do. But final question. This whole season is about perspective pivots.
Okay.
Because there's so much chaos going on. There's so much just sadness, death, all of these things right now just kind of coupled into racism, all in one little time capsule that we're all experiencing right now.
Right.
However, within it is so much good that doesn't get highlighted. So we're actually taking time this season to say, what's the perspective pivot? So you experience so much here as a teacher and an entrepreneur. What is your perspective pivot that you would present?
What does that mean? Perspective pivot.
So what is the lens that you're like, this sucks, but this is what I'm taking with me in the future and how I've grown as a result of this?
Oh, okay. Man, that's a lot. You know what? I just think you have to be adaptable to change, and you gotta push through. So when things get difficult, you can't just stop. You gotta figure out, just do one thing. Just do one thing. Just do that one thing. You know, make a list in the morning of just 1 or 2 things you want to get done. Get those 2 things done, and then move it forward. Keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, move forward. And you gotta set goals. So if you don't set goals, you can't achieve goals, because that's just ridiculous. So we have these strategies for success class.
Yes.
And we're going over goal setting in there, because I just think that's
Me
that's
too.
important.
Let's go.
And I think you have to learn to adjust those goals. People get discouraged when they don't reach their goals. That's no big deal. But just keep setting them, keep moving forward. So that's just kind of one of the things that I'm really figuring out, that I needed to set my goals actually bigger than what I've set them.
Ooh.
And so I read a book. God, it was the Tools of Titans. I read the Tools of Titans, and there's one quote in there where the guy says, "Take your 10-year goals and see if you can achieve them in 1 year."
Wow.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot in that, but you have to have the 10-year goals first to even do that. But yeah.
Oh, I like that part. I don't know if y'all heard that. You have to have the 10-year goals first. You have to know what you even wanted to achieve in 10 years to even know how to try and adapt them into 1-year goals. Because that may sound really good, but did you even know where you wanted to be in 10 years?
Right.
Oh, come on.
Which is different.
Come on. Listen, we're having a grand old time over here.
So I'm with that riding to Boston. You know, I'm always listening to the audiobooks, doing all that. So that's just always learning. Always learning.
Have you set your goals, and have you figured out a way to be adaptable even in times of trial? Perspective pivot that.
Because, God, I'm going to give you more.
Come on.
They also said people overestimate what they can do, and they underestimate what they can get done in 5 years. So they set a 5-year goal, and they kind of overestimate that first year, and they get discouraged. But if they stick with it, a lot of times they can achieve it within the 5 years. So that's just, so that's be patient. Be patient with your goals. Be patient with your dreams. Be patient with your future. You know, I tell my kids in school, I'm like, you know, you guys are young right now. You guys are in a vocational school. You guys can pretty much achieve whatever you would like. Like if you like, what would you want? And a lot of the kids like, okay, I don't even want that fancy. They're like, you know, of course they say they want like a fancy car, do whatever. And then I said, no, so let's just get real. What do you really want? And it's like, you know what? I would just like a Jetta or an Accord or something. I would like an apartment in Boston, and that's basically it. And I'm like, apartment in Boston's hard to do, but
right, let's keep it real.
you could live close. You can live close, and you can have that Jetta. You can do a lot of the things that you're talking about. No, just don't try to take a shortcut. Just do it the right way. Do what you know you need to do. Listen to your teachers and follow your dreams, and there you go.
Bang. They like that.
Oh, listen, you might have to replay that part of the podcast like 5-6 times because that man just dropped gems.
You
Okay,
have to
like
drop those tips on the socials.
whew. You listen. What I wouldn't do to have him as my math teacher. My goodness, like I'm looking at 2 male teachers, 2 black men in the classroom, and bless them because they are making sure our kids are getting much more than English in Ty's case and math in another case. They are getting life lessons, and I honor and thank you both. Ooh, we almost had an accident. I thank you both because you two are dropping gems on your children, and thank you.
All right.
Well, with that, y'all.
I just have to ask, Kevin, because you've given us so much great information. Where do people find out, support you, buy the beer? Like, tell us all of that information.
Okay. So right now, the only beer that's out in the masses is called Night Crew. So that's in some places in Boston and around Boston. But in the next 2 months, we are going to get out even more. So we want to start moving towards Boston. We're going to do a beer called Crossroads, just because of everything everyone's going through. We have another beer that's going to be called Cruisin'. And
Spelled CRUESIN.
Hey.
I love a good pun or play on words.
So those will be released.
Cruisin' is made for love.
Yeah.
Cruisin' was brewed for you.
You at the crossroads.
And we're drinking together.
You at the crossroads.
Oh, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I mean, that's where you're going to hear the news about what's going on and new things going on with Crue Brew. So just follow us on those. And
that's Crue Brew Brewery, right?
Yep.
What's the address to the brewery?
95 Ryan Drive, and that's in Raynham, Mass.
Okay, I'll see you this weekend.
Excuse me, we'll see him? Like, where's my invitation? Dang.
You already have it, your sip. I
The shade. Dang. Listen, y'all, don't just follow him. Make sure you follow him, but make sure you follow us and make sure that you spread the love to this place because seriously, you need to be supporting black-owned businesses. And this place is dope. I'm here and they are taking their COVID precautions. They have seating outside. They are sanitizing. It is open air. You will feel very comfortable right here. And not only that, but you will be drinking great things. And you will feel good doing it, knowing that you are supporting somebody who is giving back not only in education, but also to his community and his family. Like, it's a trifecta right here. You cannot go wrong. Get here.
Oh, thanks.
Be cruising.
Should I step off? What am I doing?
I can't.
We're gonna end right here, right now. So yeah, when you're not here, remember
to be good to yourself,
to be true to yourself,
and to educate yourself.
See ya. Cheers.